Good morning, everyone. This is Biz Chicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. I'm Terralina from California Cover Ups, and my co host, Miss Francine Gregory, is our producer today. We're here with our co-host, Miss Robin Shimizu and friends, because it's Thursday, and of course, this is when we talk about happy, healthy habits with Robin Shimizu and friends. Now, I want you guys to relax, sit back, hydrate. Let's get ready for some fantastic information, and I'm going to present to some, introduce to others, Robin Shimizu, and she is going to introduce her guest today. How you doing this morning, Robin?
Good morning, Terry. Good
Good
morning,
morning.
Francine in the background, and hello, Caesar. I'm doing fine. I think that I might be a little delayed on the broadcast, but I'm going to just continue to talk.
Yes, because we can hear your audio. Your audio's fine. Go ahead.
Great. Well, this morning, I am so pleased to introduce Caesar Figueroa. He came to us via Francine, who met him at a networking event or something. And I had actually met Caesar previously also, so it was connect with him. He's a fitness and wellness coach. He's got a great website, and we'll post the website up for you guys later so you can take a look at it. I loved his website, and I'm going to be quoting off of it as I introduce him to you guys. He empowers his clients socially, emotionally, spiritually, and occupationally, touching all dimensions of their lives in his coaching programs. I thought because I never heard the occupational part of the a wellness coach. He's a certified personal trainer and has a degree in kinesiology with an emphasis in exercise science. And I thought maybe Caesar could tell us a little bit later what kinesiology is all about. Maybe he could just give us a quick definition of what it is, because we hear about it all the time, but I've never met anybody who actually has a degree in kinesiology like Caesar has. And then I love this last quote. Caesar loves to find the inner athlete in everyone, therefore motivating his clients to get more powerful, faster, stronger, and more agile. And I thought, okay, he could probably, because I noticed that he likes to work a lot with children. Is that right, Caesar? And also you work with with people of all ages. So with that, Caesar, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell us a little about yourself, your history, and how you became the coach that you are.
Thank you, Robin. Yeah, well, that could be a long story, but I'm going to try to shorten it up into all the questions that you just asked. So yeah, again, my name is Caesar. My business is called Seize Your Life. So it's a play on my nickname, Seize. And I basically, work with all kinds of different people of all ages. A real passion for me was working with youth because I grew up overweight. And so not a whole lot of people know that when they come to hire me, they just see this say slender, more fit person that they think I've always been like that. But that's definitely not the case. So, I'll go into my story and then please just remind me to come back to that whole kinesiology part, and I'll come back into it regardless. But if I miss it, there's different definitions going on around there. But my story: I grew up overweight from the age of 8 to 16. At the age of 16, I was trying out for the JV soccer team at my high school. And it's here locally, right? So in Woodland. And I just remember it was a really hot summer day. It was just scorching hot outside. And I was trying out for the JV soccer team. And I was like a quarter mile away from everyone else trying to, complete the run for that tryout. I still made the team. But I remember that day I looked up at the sun and I was like, you know what? Next year, I'm not going to be the slowest guy on the team. And so I made the team, didn't get much playing time, but that whole, after that season, I just would go to the gym, I would run every day, I would play basketball, lift weights, I do everything. I just would work out a ton. It was just sheer effort, just all the way through. And I ended up losing 70 pounds in that following year. So that's what really helped me just feel a lot better in my body, but I still wasn't very comfortable. So like this was all new to me, right? I grew up, I was told I was shy the whole time, my whole life. And so this would really help me just feel better in my body. I felt I gained a lot more confidence about myself. And even then, I still had to learn how to just be comfortable and feel good in my own skin. And so a lot in high school was really difficult for me. My two best friends had dropped out of high school. You know, we got into using cannabis a whole lot, and that's where I really fell into a deep end where I would just numb myself because I didn't want to feel who I really was. And so yeah, I luckily was able to get through high school, but I entered an outpatient rehab facility, and that's where I really learned, like, oh, okay, it's it's not necessarily the substances that I'm addicted to. It's more that I don't really want to be in my own skin. I don't want to be in my own body, even though I worked out and I felt better. It's just I didn't want to be. I still wasn't comfortable with myself. And so that's where it really clicked for me. Like, okay, well, what do I do now? I basically went back to what made me feel good. So what made me feel good was working out. And so I stayed sober, working out, meeting new friends and stuff like that. And so then I was like, well, if it made me feel good, I could teach this to other people and maybe make some money. And so I got certified as a personal trainer. And then I found out there was a degree in kinesiology. And so now kinesiology is the study of human body movement. And so it's a science degree. And I found out there was a degree, so I did all the prereqs, and I got my degree, and I loved it. I loved every minute immersing myself into the human body. So you study everything from anatomy, physiology to biochemistry, physics, the works. And then I was already a certified trainer, and I already had clients, so I was able to apply it right off the bat. And to me, that was wonderful, because a lot of my colleagues, they were just going to wait till after they got their degree to start working in the field. And so to me, I was able to apply everything I was learning, boom, right to my clients. And yeah, that's a little bit about how I came into the health and fitness field. The wellness is a different little story, which I could take on, but I'm not sure what you want me to, if you have a different question, or where we want to go from here.
Okay. Well, now, so tell me, what drove you to? I get the story, but Robin was saying that you like to connect with children. What made you choose children in terms of a niche group?
Yeah, well, it's not necessarily where I make my money, to be honest.
No, your chief purpose isn't. But go ahead.
So yeah, it's because of growing up overweight, that really had an effect on me, because I felt like I didn't have anyone that I related to. That I felt so alone and secluded. I was picked on. You call it bullied and whatnot. And so I just wish I had some kind of model or some kind of figure that I could relate to at that time that would probably ease some of the tension, tell me that, everything's going to be okay. I had to tell that to myself. When I was running to the gym every day, I was still getting picked on. I just knew that in the future, it was going to be different. So that's what I kept on telling myself. And that's how I developed my mindset piece, right? That knowing that I had to self-talk myself into, like, the future is going to be a little different, and it's way different than what I had imagined. That's what kind of pushed me to the direction of, like, giving back to youth. So I've developed a few programs. I've worked at the Sacramento Food Bank did a teen program there. And it's all basically just to self-empower the youth, just to let them know that everything's going to be okay. Their uniqueness is awesome, and to just keep going with it.
Okay.
That is
Yeah.
so.
Wow. Um, Go ahead, Robin.
It's so inspirational to hear a young man like Caesar tell us his story from high school and and how he overcame all of that. So inspirational, Caesar. I love your history and your story, and I think you could do so much for everybody of all ages. And your audience is, often we are mothers and we
Mhm.
have grandchildren and things like that. And so, it's nice to have somebody on the show that can run the gamut from, a young person. You can help a young person as well as somebody like my age. So I just find you very, very inspirational, Caesar. And I loved your story and how you got to where you are. It's very, very inspirational because you went through a lot of self-healing first and all of that. And I don't know if you had a coach during all of that, but it's very, very admirable.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I mean the coaching piece comes in right after I got my degree. Um, I got it to well, I was shadowing doctors because after I got my degree, one of my first mentors told me, you should go into PA school, which is physician assistant school, and and that way you could get hired on by a hospital. You don't have to worry about liability insurances through if you were to become a regular physician. So basically, when you do that, you have to take a couple more prereqs and then shadow and get clinical hours. So I was shadowing doctors of all kinds of different specialties. And I was mostly interested in orthopedics just because studying kinesiology and working with sports medicine. Um, yeah, so I shadowed a bunch of doctors, and in that setting, I just something within me said this wasn't the right setting for me. Right, I was already helping people say get off of medications with just lifestyle changes, and I saw the doctors just overloaded with patients and not really giving them the attention that the patients were really coming for. And so I was like, you know what, I'm not sure what this is gonna. I just know that this isn't for me. Like, I don't want to be inside a hospital all the time and overbook with clients and or patients and not even being able to really help them. So yeah, I let that go, and that was a whole different change. But I found this supplement company who I started doing direct sales for, and that's where that really personal development really amplified. And I got a mentor. I had some coaches that would really teach me to develop my mind. Right, they taught me like, look at this is all the programs that you've put into your mind just growing up. Right now, it's time for you to just put in the programs that you do want. So I immersed myself into personal development with coaches, with books, with audios, and that's where I realize now that that's where I was developing my mindset piece back in high school, right? By self-talking to myself and telling myself that it's going to be different in the future.
Wow. Wow, Caesar, that is a great story.
Mm.
So, what was your biggest challenge? Because I was going to ask you, how did you develop confidence? But I think you just answered that for us, because you said that was one of your challenges in high school because of the weight. Until you decided to make a change, that it affected your self confidence, and so when you did get the weight off, you had to figure out who you really were.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
So was that your biggest challenge, or is there something else that was an even larger challenge in you getting started with your career?
Yeah, that was a big challenge for me. I'm not sure if it was the biggest. I feel like challenges keep coming, right? As us as entrepreneurs, like they're just gonna keep coming. So it's might as well accept them and just see what we can do, we can grow from them. But it was definitely a big challenge from the age of 28 to 30. So I just graduated with my bachelor's. Then I left 4.5 year relationship, and that was really tough. And so I moved out of that apartment that I was living with my partner. And even then my car stopped working at that time, and my boss helped me to just, she's like, you could live at my house for a month. And it was just like a downhill spiral again. And I was like, man, it's like I'm going through this another cycle of this like deep depression. But somehow I was just like continuing to believe in that vision and that future really kind of like holds you grounded, and just no matter how hard things get, just believing in that future, that the future is going to be different and it's going to be better, it pulls you through. Like opportunities start showing up for you. But yeah, I could definitely say that that's one of the biggest challenges I've had. And the most recent one was what propelled me to this more spiritual, what you call work in the wellness field, was when I had, a really good base, clientele base and all that going. My business is doing really well. And then a friend or a colleague or coworker of mine, she was 26 and she died in a motorcycle accident. And to me, that's someone I envisioned, say, working with me for a long time. And so it just kind of, anytime some kind of death happens in my life, it's just a time for me to just like check in to see what's real, where am I going? Because she was so young and she had a lot to offer, that I was like, okay, I got to pump the brakes. Where am I going? And then I found out like, okay, I'm doing all these like Western practices with the body and the physical body, and I don't feel like it's enough. I don't feel complete and whole. And at that time, I had just hurt my ankle really bad, and I was going to doctors and stuff like that. I was trying to rehab myself, and it wasn't working, and nothing. They wanted to do surgery eventually, and then one of my clients told me about this guy who lived in the Greenhaven area in Sacramento, and she said, oh, why don't you go see this guy? He helped my friend out with her back. She was about a month away from back surgery, and the guy worked on her feet and helped her, healed her. And I was like, really? And she's like, yeah, don't be surprised if he tells you things that you haven't told anyone. And I was like, okay, whatever. So I show up. He's like, take off your shoes, sit on the table, and let me see your feet. And so he starts like pushing on my toes and my feet, and he's like, oh, you grew up overweight, huh? And I was like, yeah. And I hadn't told him anything about me. And he starts saying like, oh, you get really bad heart and chest pain, huh? And I'm like, whoa. I've never told anyone before. And I didn't want to tell anyone because I'm supposed to be this health guy and not supposed to feel those things. But yeah, he just called me out, and just by looking at my feet. And I was like, he said, you're okay, your heart's fine. He's like, just lay off the sugar and it's your pancreas, it's overworking. And then so that opened up my world to something different, because I had never been able to see how someone could just tell a lot by just pressing on your feet. And so his practice was called Sukushin Jutsu, and it's basically acupressure on the feet. And so he healed my ankle after going to him for about a month. And then we started working on other things like my shoulder, my hip. And I had asked him to teach me his ways. And, it took him a while to come around, and he was being a little shady about it. I still respect the guy. Yeah, he told me one price, and then told another guy another price, and he's like, "Oh, I told the other guy, it was going to be 10,000." He's like, "I got to charge you 10,000." I'm like, "Dude, you just told me 5," and I'm like, "Okay." So a friend of mine suggested that I look up something else, and I found the practice of Jinshin Jutsu, and so that's more. It's definitely non-invasive. Mm-hmm. That's why I wanted to get into the piece of talking about energy, right? Okay. And so that's these two systems that I've learned and developed now. It's all around how energy comes into and becomes our bodies.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about the energy?
Sure, yeah. So energy, you want to think of it, it's all around us, right? It's what makes us it's what makes matter, right? So anything you see that you think is solid, right? You know, and you've heard about this, that once you look at it at a microscopic level, all you start seeing is cells, and you see the atoms, right? And even between
Yes.
the atoms and the electrons, there you can't see anything. All you see is like little tiny tornadoes everywhere vibrating. Even though something seems solid, it's something, all a bunch of little tiny tornadoes are vibrating to keep that solid. So that's how you want to think of energy, that it's all around us. A friend of mine really describes it as we're all swimming in the same pool, right?
Mm.
Well, if you think about it, if you're all underwater and you're moving, you know, you're surrounded by energy. If the water is energy, and it's going to affect everything about what's in the water, right? So that's now science and quantum physics is telling us, they're trying to disprove that we're not all interconnected, right? So if this holds true, they coming up with more sophisticated tests, but it still, it's kind of supports the idea that we are entangled, we're all interconnected, we're all swimming in the same pool. So what I hear is going to affect even a galaxy away, right? Because we're all connected within this universe. And so say once this was kept on being supported by, say, hippies, and that really brought in the Eastern philosophy to hold true, that we are all interconnected, and that what I do here is always going to affect somewhere else, right? Um, I noticed that, yeah, that didn't really make a whole lot of sense, but that gives you a little bit of background of what energy is composed of, and we're still trying to understand it, right?
Okay, well, here's what I thought. I thought we were going to be talking about how I could get more energy.
Oh, we can go there.
Oh, thank you, Caesar, because I think that would be helpful, especially to entrepreneurs, because we tend to get run down sometimes because most of the time we are solopreneurs and we're trying to do it all with a little help here and there. Could you speak to that, how we can energize ourselves?
Of course. So yeah, you want to think of yourself as the power source, right? And as far as the battery, in my jiu-jitsu practice, we call ourselves the jumper cables, because if we're already made of energy, right, our hands are just the jumper cables that energy runs through us.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the practices, or one of the holds that we do to increase our energy, is just by sitting on our hands and breathing. So let's go ahead and do that now. Just go ahead and lift your cheeks up, okay? Sit on your hands. Okay? Get grounded, put your feet on the floor, okay? Sit up nice and tall. And then if it feels comfortable to shut your eyes, then go for it.
Okay.
Otherwise, you could keep them open. And then just begin to just breathe, okay? So just take a big breath in and a big breath out. Breath in, breath out. Another one, breath in, and another breath out. Now go ahead and just keep breathing in and out through your nose. And now you want to focus and visualize the breath coming all the way up the back, your spine, to the top of your head, and then exhaling down the front of your body, down your face, down your front of your body, down to the floor. So it's just one complete cycle of breath going through the front and up the back. And just feel your shoulders dropping, letting go. And slowly you come into a sense of ease, calm, and tranquility. And then you just check with your inner resource, which I believe is your heart. So just feel your heart, feel the space around it. And then bring on elevated emotion from your vision. When your vision is all complete, and when you're living life from your vision, what does it feel like? Does it feel happy? Does it feel joyful? Does it feel like you're laughing? You feel love and kindness, compassion. Do you feel powerful, fit, and strong? Now we just give thanks that we have these able bodies to recharge ourselves, to live through our dreams, and to serve everyone around us. Thank you. Maybe take another breath, and then you can let go and open the eyes. How you feeling, Terry?
I feel extremely relaxed, I tell you that.
Yeah.
And the power of suggestion really makes you feel very successful, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a combination of, say, the Jitsu practice, which is just holding on to different parts of the body.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a little bit of we call heart math coherence. And it's basically the breathing in and out of the heart, visualizing that or feeling that. And then you bring on the elevated emotions to basically get you to that vibration, to that frequency. So again, if we're talking about energy, all right, we want to come to that level of vibration that we want to be at. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're basically just training yourself to come into that higher vibration, those elevated emotions. Because there's lower emotions like, say, greed, lust, all these lower emotions, they get us into a lower frequency. And so if everything's energy, we want to get to that higher vibration, that love, where love is at the highest vibration. So you start climbing up those elevated emotions, and they're doing studies on all this. And so that's why I take this holistic view of putting it all together, because if we're all energy, everything's energy, then we got to work that at that cause level. If something's going wrong in our lives, that means that at the energy is the cause, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whatever's going on in our lives is just the effect of whatever's going on in our energy, and it could be totally different. Right? That's why if my ankle hurts, I could get it and help it at my shoulder, right? So that's how this works, is that you want to come into that higher vibration by training your body to be at that vibration.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, I don't know if you saw the question, but someone over on Facebook wanted to know what's the information on the man in Greenhaven.
The mystery man in Greenhaven. I call him the angry Buddha. His name is Mr. I call him Mr. Lee, but his name is Lee Burris, and I could let me look for his contact information. But he's great. I think he's a wonderful way for someone that's really hurting in pain. Just to let you know that his practice is very painful too. It's not like very pleasant. You sit there. Yeah, he puts pressure on your feet, even though he's not pressing that hard. He's pushing certain spots to activate the nervous system to get blood flow in there, and so that way you heal whatever is going on. So I'm glad I'm glad I learned a little bit of his practice, right? But I'm also glad I found my practice, because mine is less invasive. I'm not pressing and poking people. So it's more like it's a soothing relaxation practice, like you just solve for yourself.
So you might want to try Caesar first.
Yeah, it depends. I still have a couple of my clients go to him,
Unless you're just into pain, okay?
Right. He always says that if depending on the pain that you have, it's going to be the pain on your feet, so that's the same level. So, yeah.
Robin,
did you have other questions for Caesar?
Yes. I was wondering, Caesar, if you could tell the audience what would trigger somebody to seek you out as a fitness and wellness coach. So what kind of ailments would somebody have? I mean, is it because somebody wants to start a exercise program or just get healthier in general, or if they're very, very interested in the spiritual part of the healing? I mean, do you have different programs for different aspects of what you train on? Because it seems like you have a very wide range of skill sets in terms of you can do the physical stuff and you can do the spiritual. So how do you design a program for somebody? Like if I came in to see you and I said, okay, I just want to feel better. There isn't anything really that wrong with me, but you know, I might have this little pain here, and you know, so what would you sit me down and just design a plan, or how does that work?
Yeah, and so we work again on the level of energy. I would explain the how I help people write goals down now is basically you make these goals and say one column is your intentions, and then I basically take the person through a little quick short meditation on seeing themselves already in those intentions or those goals being accomplished, and I ask them, what are the emotions that came up? What are the characteristics that came up when you see yourself in that future vision that you hold for yourself? And so then we write those elevated emotions down. And so I say, see, now we got to connect the intentions with the elevated emotions in order for you to radiate that out, right? So we're working from the inside out. So I would say that my ideal client is someone that is open to taking a different type of approach, to taking more of a holistic approach of mind, body, spirit, mind, body, soul. And so most of my clients come to me with, say, weight loss goals, right? But they don't want to be intimidated by, you know, really jacked personal trainer that's just going to kill them and give them a boot camp workout. You know, I still make my clients sore, and we still work out really hard at times, but it's not, say, my goal, because I don't just work on the physical level. So with that said, yeah, my ideal client kind of is open to taking more of a holistic approach, knowing that we're just not going to work out hard every time, right? Someone might not feel good that day, even if I had something planned out already. I'm like, okay, well then let's just do a Jinshinjutsu treatment for this session. And so I would say someone that's more open to taking more of a holistic approach to changing their lifestyle, not so much changing just their bodies.
Yeah.
See, I love that, because you're really educating people on how to take care of themselves. At the end of the day, you know, when they stop being a client of yours, in terms of you set them on a track, then you've actually trained them or given them the skill sets to help them stay healthy from a holistic standpoint. And I love the holistic stance that you take with your clients. It's because it is intimidating. A lot of people don't know how they even want to begin a wellness program. So that's very interesting.
Yeah, I think I find it amazing when I hear clients now say, like, oh, I feel horrible if I don't work out, or I feel horrible if I eat that bad food, right? Like they've changed their whole body, right? They've changed and you change your genetics when you start coming into these higher vibrations, because your body is starting to reject the bad stuff, because it's like, no, we're higher than that. We're better than that. You know,
Wow.
I need to move. I need to eat well. And so that's how that works.
Wow. My goodness. Well, what is the biggest tip that you would pass on to our listeners?
And so these listeners, mostly entrepreneurs and people with businesses.
Correct.
Right? Yeah. The biggest tip would be to always come back to knowing that you're the power source, right? That everything external comes from within. So even if you see like your chaos around you, to know that you got to slow down, to come maybe into stillness, and to come and to tune into your vision, your power source from within. And so like I teach a lot to sync the mind with the heart, and you do that just by a simple heart coherence practice, where you feel that power source from within. You feel like, okay, this is what I'm creating, what I'm cultivating and radiating out from within me. So you're the power source, no matter what's going on around your life. If you don't like it, then check in, right? Really slow down, take some breaths, and check into your power source, because you're the ultimate power source. Not everyone, not say the city that doesn't pass certain, permits, or, social media that you're not getting clients and all that stuff. So it's always got to come back to your knowing that you're the sole power source.
Wow, you have really made a change in your confidence, haven't you? That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's still being tested, Being around.
We'll always be tested. That's just part of the process, right? Wow. Um, we want to thank you for being a guest here on Biz Chicks, but I'm going to let Robin close us out. Before she does that, I just want to say that tomorrow is Friday. And on Friday, Caesar, we do um, tech talks with the tech divas, and we talk tech in English for entrepreneurs. So how to apply tech to your everyday business, and simple tips and information that they can use. So we're going to encourage everyone to tune in tomorrow. And meanwhile, I want to say thank you so much for being a guest.
Oh,
Go ahead, Robin, and take us where you want to take us. We have your audio.
So coming on the show to invite you back. Pardon me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I just wanted to thank Caesar for coming on the show and providing us with this insight. And I'd like to go more into tips of with us. So please can join us again. Well, next week we also have another wellness coach, Linus Mullins Woods, and she's another wellness coach with a different style, and I like that because there's so many people out there that can help us. But Caesar, thank you so much, and we'll be seeing you again. And really appreciate your expertise and your wisdom and your generosity today. Thank you.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you, Terry. I just wanted to do a little quick shout out. You can find me. Yeah, my website is seizeyourlife.com, but that's getting revamped and reworked on. So it's probably best to follow me on Facebook, on my Facebook page, where you could just search for Seize Your Life, just like my website. And that's the one I keep up the most, and where I put a lot more tips and posts, and where I do different events, whether it's a meditation event or whether it's, movement classes, anything like that.
Fantastic. We have put your information in the chat, but we'll also let people know that they can reach you at Seize Your Life on Facebook.
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Francine. Francine is just on it. She's got it in the chat already on all social media outlets, because we're here not just on Facebook, but we're on YouTube, and we're over here on Periscope. So all of our fans will be able to contact you, Caesar. We thank you so much. And Robin, you always have such interesting guests. We thank you so much, and we appreciate you. Also, I want to say, Caesar, we will just love to have you come back, just as Robin asked. And in the meantime, I want to remind everybody, don't forget to go to the front of your own line, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye.